So I have watched every cinematic part of the Star Wars lore, in order, and yes, even the boring parts.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
I don't like sand.
This was around 7,259 minutes. If you want to crunch that down to hours, that's 121 hours. If you want to crunch that down to days, that's around 5 days. Now this took me a month and 8 days to finish because I don't have 120 hours to watch them. But I did watch them all, and I will say this. Star Wars is more than a movie, or more than a show. It is a work of art. Now, I'm not very good. Let me draw you an example, okay? Get it? Draw you a work of art. Let's say I drew a circle, okay? Everyone who sees it, it is just a circle. But if I add some more shapes, and I add some detail, it starts to form something more than just a circle. And as you slowly add onto it, and the more you add onto it, it becomes a work of art. Now let's start with the prequels. Now, I was always confused on why people didn't go around the blockades, as in episode 1, there was a blockade around Naboo. And it wasn't until later, previously before I watched all the movies starting January 1st, that I learned how hyperspace works. And let me just explain it to you in a very brief way. It's basically freeways, okay? You can't really just hop off the freeway anywhere you want, okay? There are set exits that you have to go off for your own safety. I mean, unless you're wild and you just fly off the freeway into someone's neighborhood. Okay, and if you want to learn more information on how blockades work with hyperspace travel links, I'm going to link a video down in the description. Really nice video. Awesome YouTuber. He doesn't know me, but I know him and I like watching his videos. Knowing how the blockades work and how hyperspace works, it really brings clarity to the Star Wars saga for me because there's just so much detail to it in Star Wars. If you really take a look at it, there's so much detail to the lore. It's beautiful, okay? Now episode 1, to the fans it did a really bad job. I personally still enjoyed it, but with the I still personally enjoyed it, but with most films, it's still crucial for the lore, because without episode 1, we wouldn't know how Anakin was discovered. Saying discovered as in discovered with the Jedi Order, or how rough his past was. I mean, he was a slave, his mother was a slave, he watched his mother be enslaved, beat probably, and they were just passed around like they were trash. Now, when we talk about Star Wars, you gotta really expand your ideals. You gotta think galactic-wise, okay? You can't think planetary-wise. Because one person death in our mindset, in real life, it's maybe like one person, okay? Well, because we're giving the example as one person. But in a galactic scale, that one person will be maybe accumulated up to like 100 people around there. There's just so many people, okay? But it is crucial that we still learn how difficult Anakin's past was. Okay? Now, episode 2, I'm going to be honest with you. It was boring. Until the end. Okay, in the end it picked up a little bit. Let's be real though. No one really wants to know how Anakin would want to run democracy. But the clone fighting scenes was amazing. As always, Star Wars has never succeeded to amaze me, okay? They've blown my mind out with animation, cinematography, effects, okay? And I always tip my hat. I always tip my fedora, my lady. They do a really good job, okay? The acting in episode 2, I would say it was a little cringy at some points. I'm talking about you, Anakin Skywalker. But after episode 2, within the lore, it is the Clone Wars, okay? The Clone Wars movie, and then the Clone Wars TV show. The movie was alright. We're going to skip past that, though, because the Clone Wars show is the best. Hands down. Oh, it's just a kid's show. You're an 18-year-old watching a kid's show. Okay, listen here. The Clone Wars series has never shied away from murder, okay? They have people with red sabers slicing children down.
Galaxy at war, Savage. There's only one way to get the attention of the Jedi. Slaughter of the innocent, mercilessly and without compromise.
There will be more innocent blood on your hands, Kenobi, unless you come here. Face me. Come alone, and if you do not, this world will burn.
Although, Lucasfilms has never shied away from slicing innocent children down.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
They've had Ventress impaling people then killing them. Okay, they've had clones being brutally blasted.
Something's gone wrong. Prepare all troops for...
And I love it, okay? It's amazing. The story was great. The animation was amazing. The acting and the story build-up was through the roof, okay? There was so much plots between episode 2 and 3 that were just completely filled. And the characters were so well developed, and the actors did a really good job of putting themselves in that spot. And I tip my fedora to them. Okay, now episode 3 is my favorite out of the movies of the prequels, meaning 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and everyone gives trash to Hayden Christensen for his acting, but I think he played a good role. Okay, I think he played his role as someone who is confused of who they are. Okay, and I'm not trying to make this some SJWs. Okay, but I just want to say that Anakin, you gotta really hear this. Anakin was appointed onto the council and did not become a master. Let's say you were moved to an officer or to a manager position at your work, but you weren't getting paid as a manager. This is the best I can explain it, okay? You just found out he has a kid. I mean, technically he has twins, but he doesn't know that yet. He has a kid, but he's not allowed to have that kid. So that's like, let's see, what's a good example? That's like a Christian having a child before marriage. That's the best way I can explain that. And then you got Palpatine slowly turning him into the dark side. Okay, so it's like when you have depression and you kind of take like a couple pills. It's kind of like that. Palpatine's the opioid. Okay, and the dark side is your depression. And he's just like throwing these pills at you and you're slowly falling more and more into depression. AKA the dark side. Okay, he played his role good. The acting and the cinematography, as always, I will be saying that a lot because Star Wars does a really good job. The beginning scene of Episode 3 with the starfighters they're trying to get on General Grievous's command ship was amazing. Okay, the Anakin versus Obi-Wan was amazing. Mace Windu versus Obi-Wan, amazing. Yoda versus Palpatine, it was a little much, but it was still really good, okay? And I think Episode 3 was just enough at that time to end the prequels, my mistake. And it was a good enough gap before the originals to settle the Star Wars fans. And I will give it to Lucasfilms there. Now, the Solo story it is what it is. I wish they explained the dice a little more than just a lucky charm, because it seems to have some type of significance in the Star Wars story. And you can say all your theories you want all about them, but it's just there's just not enough there for us. We can speculate, but as of this date, we don't know much about it. But I think they hit Han in the right spot to show why he's so cold and heartless. I mean, at the end of the movie, he had to kill one of his crew members who betrayed him, and at that spot, he was going to kill him. He was going to kill Han. And right after he killed, I would say, his friend, because he didn't know anyone else outside of the Imperial Academy, his girlfriend, well, I would say girlfriend, but the person he loved, he spent years working to go see her again, flew off on a ship. She backstabbed him. She betrayed him. And it is a good movie for having both their directors fired in mid-production, okay? I will tip my fedora to the Han Solo movie. Okay? But the first 2 seasons of the Rebels show do not get my tip. Wait, that sounds weird. They do not get the tip of my hat. That sounds better. Please don't demonetize this. Actually, it is already going to be demonetized because all the footage in this video is not mine. Okay, the first 2 seasons were really slow, but the 3rd and 4th season were really good. I really like those ones. Because like I said previously, when I watch Star Wars, I want to see people getting sliced, getting diced, getting shot up, etc. You name it. Any way you can kill them, I want to see people die. And, I mean, it's a very sadistic and psycho way to look at it, but it's a galaxy-wide era, okay? You gotta stop thinking planetary. People are going to die, no matter what. Even on our Earth, people die every single minute. There's nothing you can do about it. Stop complaining about it, okay? Now, Ezra was a really strong Jedi, and not really many people realize it. He was really strong, okay? He's the only one known to us, well, besides Ahsoka, because the only reason why Ahsoka was in this little time-space continuum place that the Multus gods had power to was because Ezra was the one who found the door to it and went in there. And for most people who don't know what I'm talking about, Multus gods are extremely powerful force wielders who basically control time and force, I would say. But the ending of Season 4 was really well played, and it leaves more for Disney to expand on the lore. As in, did Sabine fight Ezra? Did Mandalore ever rebuild? Did the First Order find Zeb's planet? Etc., okay? Now, Rogue One is my second favorite film. And I believe it's the second best film that Star Wars has. As of date. I'm saying as of date because a lot can change. You can always add on to Star Wars. That's what makes it so good. The acting in Rogue One was spot on. The cinematics were supreme. And it tied one of the biggest questions about the Death Star, which was, why did the Death Star have a port that where you shoot one ion torpedo and the whole station goes boom? Just like that. The whole station goes boom. Well, now, Rogue One is out, and it explains it, that was planted there on purpose. Because the dude who built the plans for it knew that this is not the right thing to do. And now, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to really explain it for you, but if you haven't seen it, it's your loss. It's a good movie to watch. It was on Netflix, now it's not. You can find it Best Buy, stores, piracy sites, do whatever you want, okay? I would say my favorite scenes of that movie were the Hammerhead Corvette scene.
Corvette 5, locked on target. Prepare for impact.
scene. I loved that ending Vader scene. These dudes have just sheer terror in their eyes. And most of them don't even know who Vader is. All they see in this dark, foggy, smoky room is this red saber ignite. And then all of a sudden, he's just slicing all their friends down. And as this guy's just screaming to take this disc that has the Death Star plans, he just gets sliced down. It is such a good scene. Now, the originals, everyone knows the originals. I'm not really going to talk about them because they're the original Star Wars. Everyone's seen them, and if they haven't seen them, that person is trash to humanity. Okay, and I could talk about them all day. But I want to keep this video somewhat short. I know it's going to run a little long. So I'm going to move on to the Resistance show. Now, I'm going to say this. The Resistance show is a kids show. And I will take it easy on them. For what it is, I see what Disney's doing is Disney has to get a younger generation into Star Wars so that when they grow up, they will still be in Star Wars. Then Disney will be profiting from the, you know what I'm trying to say, okay? I would like to see a little more people getting blasted in like the first season. As of right now, me recording this, I maybe see we're on episode 14. Episode 15 is gonna come out in a few days, hopefully. I maybe seen like maybe 10 people die, and then half of those people are suggestible deaths. Okay, haven't seen anyone just get like blatantly shot like the Clone Wars. I mean, I've seen people like the First Order when they turned on the pirates. They shot one of the pirates just cold blood. But that was basically it. Okay, there's not that much death going involved, and I think that's a good aspect that they should add because it really adds the intensity of the scene. Now, the sequels, I understand people are complaining that they are carbon copies of the originals, but it kind of has to be like that. Disney needs that momentum. They need to slowly roll the tire before it starts rolling down the hill and it picks up speed. Okay, I have no complaints on them making a carbon copy of Episode 7 and Episode 4. No complaints. Okay, like always, I will tip my hat to them because they killed it with the effects. The effects in that movie were so good. And I am a big fan of people being murdered in Star Wars. And when Han and Chewie refine the Millennium Falcon, those two mercenary squads find them and they're about to kill them. And what are they called? raptors, something like that, those big old beasts, those little beasts are just freaking slicing on people, man. They're just throwing them in their mouths and eating them like it's breakfast.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh no.
On a what?
Wrong fuses.
Kill them and take the droid!
This was a mistake! Huge! What do they look like?
Okay, because it probably is breakfast for them. Another piece of trash thrown at the Episode 7 movies is, why do they just make a bigger weapon? Why do they make a bigger Death Star? Alright, it kind of just seems unoriginal. Okay, well, what they don't understand is that what the First Order is trying to do is strike fear. What the Empire did with the Death Star is they struck fear, and you see officers complaining to Lord Vader, or what would the Council do? Like, basically, government, galactic government. They said the galactic government will not be needed anymore. Any planet that wants to remain alive will fall into submission through fear. And that's what they're doing with the Starkiller base. And I want to point this out. When you look at the war meeting with the Resistance, look at the faces of the people in the meeting when Poe shows the size comparison to the Death Star 2 compared to Starkiller base. You just see their faces drop.
Data from Snap's reconnaissance flight confirms Finn's report.
They've somehow created a hyper lightspeed weapon built within the planet itself.
A laser cannon.
We're not sure how to describe a weapon of this scale.
It's another Death Star. I wish that were the case, Major. This was the Death Star. And this is Starkiller Base.
So it's big.
How is it possible to power a weapon of that size?
And a lot of them would have said there is no hope. And a lot of them were probably thinking that. Just me trying to fit in their mindset and just thinking like, there's no way we can win. And I can kind of relate to that on a more in-life scale. I did wrestle in high school. And I was in a heavier weight class. I am a chunky boy. Okay. These dudes had height and weight on me, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit scared. I mean, I knew I was still gonna have to wrestle the times I did wrestle. But doesn't mean I wasn't scared. Those dudes were huge. Okay, and I'm just this little I wouldn't say scrawny, but compared to them, I'm scrawny. And then here's a little fun fact about Episode 7.
Begin charging the weapon.
In the Rebels show, Yoda says even the brightest stars are powered by kyber crystals. And Starkiller Base, what does it draw its power from? You guessed it, the nearby sun, which is dumber than me. The sun is another name for a star. Now, Episode 8 was a mistake, okay? I'm very interested to see how J.J. Abrams is going to fix the lore after that disaster. Now, the slim chance, if Ryan Johnson sees this video, is it possible? Yeah. Is it plausible? No. But if the possible becomes the reality, why would you do this to the Star Wars fan base? J.J. Abrams laid out a script for you, and you said, nah, screw that, buddy. I'm gonna make the most trash movie ever. You had the best spending budget. And you completely missed the ball. Well, missed the hoop. I don't even know what these sayings are, man. So that's my take on the Star Wars trilogy, I guess. I'm now going to go try to watch Game of Thrones. I've never seen an episode before, but a coworker said it's good, and it's like watching a mini movie each episode. Hopefully there were still people dying. Like always, all humanity was a mistake, and we're just a glitch in the system.